Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Connection Check. My name is GameRage101. I am one of the two hosts. My other host here is the Game6970, also known as Shelby.
Hello, world! I am Shelby Sherbert, aka the Game 6970. How are you all doing?
So, the podcast that we are doing now is something that we've been discussing for a very short time between each other. I, however, have been discussing the idea of a podcast with another friend for quite some time. But Shelby brought up the idea on his own volition. He had no idea we were even discussing this prior, so we opted to go ahead and do this as a kind of a side project. So it's not something we're planning to do super regularly, but for the time being, we'll do an episode maybe a month or two, or every once in a while, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, because we're like not exactly good with coming up stuff, let alone on a daily basis or a weekly basis. So
yeah, coming up with stuff on the fly usually is better in a stream platform where we're making jokes and stuff, but for content to talk about, not so much. So, which is why this will be more scarce, more widely spread, or I should say. But for this first episode, we actually wanted to take time to talk a little bit about ourselves and what we do on primarily YouTube. Me, I'm doing Twitch more these days, but we want to talk about a lot about the creation process of the stuff we've done on our channels and just the interesting intricacies of what that entails. So our first topic that we wanted to discuss was generally give a background and the times we've spent making content. Shelby, I will allow you to go first on that one.
Okay, for me, I actually started all the way back on Halo CE for the PC, not the Master Chief Collection, which there were some projects I did with some people on there, but there wasn't anything really worthy of noting. But one was like a parody of the Leroy Jenkins just in Spartan form, and the other one was supposed to be like a multi-episode thing, and that was actually supposed to be where I really got to actually do something with this really shitty mic that I had at the time. And actually, there was a lot of times where we were using shitty mics. So,
oh yeah, I'm even guilty of
that. We probably only filmed maybe half of the one thing, which was titled, I believe, The Slayer Chronicles, and there was like 7 of us. And we got the intro, had no issues there. Got through halfway filming the first episode, and needless to say, there was problems filming that. And Zach's all too familiar with this, is people fucking around way too much. In fact, to give you an idea on how badly people were fucking around so much, I'm not going to say I was innocent on this, but I did a relatively small amount, but there were just people, like, we got maybe 2 minutes of filming done within a week from how many people were fucking around so much. Even in the director, yeah, it was insane. It's like, are we going to do this? There was maybe 2 other people that were kind of like me, like, are we doing this? Like, what's going on? The director would occasionally be like, oh, well, okay, guys, let's get serious. Then somebody cracks a joke or something, and he loses concentration and almost immediately started joining. I'm like, alrighty then. Like,
sounds like the director was quite submissive, if you ask me.
It's like he got easily distracted, and it's like, I understand things took long to film, and this is something I even had the mindset back then. Like, this was coming off around the time Red vs. Blue was like banging or just about to blow up and stuff. So I was watching their videos. And just like, there's like a lot more to the story, but a major part of it was director not really seeming to care, and people just messing around too much.
How long was this before you met me?
That was probably, I was probably in my second year of high school, so 10th grade. I didn't meet you until after I graduated, so that was like 2010.
Okay.
But after that, and ironically, we had the same director, like, moved on for a while, and actually made 2 shorts in Halo 3. One of them was just making fun of Hayabusa armor, which I guess at that time I don't exactly remember. People were tryhards when they got the Hayabusa armor.
Oh yeah.
And like so that got made fun of. I'll actually insert the clips to that in here, like or maybe not, or ones I feel like are worthwhile, but
then there's the other one.
Yes, the other one. He was looking forward to that. And I don't even know if I could necessarily call this a machinima. It's okay. The name of the machinima was titled Just Dance.
Oh God.
Yes. I
remember this one very vividly.
Yes. Okay. I thought this is something you knew right on the fly, but all right. But basically, the premise was 2 teams were fighting each other. One of them gets kind of bored with this and thinks to fighting a sentence, and then decides to stop all the fighting by saying, "Hey, everybody, let's dance." And they all start dancing. Some other person shows up. He starts dancing with them, kills them. Everybody gets mad. Then they kill that dude and just start teabagging his corpse. Now, there's a bit more to it than that. The concept wasn't necessarily great, but I think it was at the very least semi-decent, where you could, like, oh, okay, this is
laugh
cool.
at it.
Yeah, I guess kind of laugh at it. But, and I was actually, I didn't really have high expectations, but, so.
You had more expectations than what you got.
Oh my God, yeah. That is definitely for sure. So, if you were, let me put it this way, if you were trying to look up something funny, and you came across a video, this wasn't a term at the time, but you would feel like you, or maybe it was, but you would have felt like you got clickbaited or trolled, because the fighting segment lasted a total of, I believe it was 3 minutes out of a 7-minute video.
Right.
And this is consecutively, and it was just cutting back and forth between both teams. You would think it was a very shitty montage.
The only thing I really remember is your bit.
Yes, and my bit. Oh my God. But once you get past all that, and this is I think I was actually, no, I was the only person that had a voice in that. Everybody else was quiet. It was me and then the director himself. I was the person that basically told everybody to wait, let's dance. But I don't know why I did it this way, and I'm ashamed I did it this way. But I'll give you a demonstration, and then I'll even show you a clip reluctantly. But but basically I was like this. Wait. I have a better idea. Let's dance. Wait. I have a better idea. Let's dance. Like, and it sounded so fucking bad. It's like, I'm probably not the best voice actor even now, but I can at the very least know I have enough comps to say I am a lot better than I was there.
I may or may not include that clip in my edit of the podcast, but
I can send you a link. I know exactly how to find it, which I'm surprised it still exists, because I believe the video was like 11 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
I might put it in my edit. I might not. Mine might be a little more streamlined. We'll see.
Yeah, but after I saw that, I'm like, oh my God. And like, there was like some funny moments, but like, and like, I actually remember a comment somebody made on it. The comments aren't there. I don't know if he re-uploaded it or whatever happened, but there was a comment I distinctly remember. It said, that was like pretty much utter garbage, and the only part that was semi-funny was the part where everybody got blown up. I'm just sitting there like, yeah.
And so, as for background, this is you. At this point, you haven't really done any creating of your own. This was all by proxy or just by association.
No, and it's something I really wanted to do, but I can never get somebody like. I'm not expecting like things, every single thing to be serious, but serious enough to actually do it.
Yeah, serious enough to get the job done, so to speak.
Yeah,
even if the context is comedy.
Yeah, and like I even asked the director, like, bro, what was that? He's like, I don't even know. It's like, you don't know how to cut? Like, what are you doing? And then after that, he tried, there was like a project or two that he tried to get me in. I can't remember. I think it was based off some sort of space commercial. And I'm just like, I don't think so. And that actually put me on a 4-year gap almost where I didn't do anything Machinima related. That thing nearly broke the camel's back for me. It's like, no.
Oh, no. Well, and then you met me.
Yes, it's like, there were some people that I knew that were trying to, not in here. Sorry about that. Mom just came in looking for our cat.
You could just edit that out.
Yeah. But, where was I? Oh, yeah. There was a few people that mentioned some Machinima stuff, and I was like, I don't know. And then, who was it that introduced me to you?
Brendan.
Wasn't it his name Trickshot or something at the time?
It was DRG Huey, or it might have been Trickshot at the time. But he was in a clan with some of his other friends. And this person I actually met on Metal Gear Online 2, which was back in like 2009, 2010. So I don't really talk to him that much these days because he's a generally busy person, not because of anything that happened. But he introduced me to Shelby because he recruited, I want to say, about 8 people from his clan to help me film something. Shelby was one of them, and Shelby's also the only one who stuck.
Yeah, because like everybody else just like gave up after like an episode or just anything in general.
Much. Yeah, everyone else was like, "Nah, we're good." It was fun to try, but no one else really cared to keep going, and that's okay. It's not for everybody.
But yeah, like as far as background goes, there's really nothing else as far as that I did prior to actually start making stuff until at least I met Zach again. But yeah, it's like I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over to you. You can go ahead and talk about some of the stuff you made.
All right, so my background generally starts around 2012 with my current channel. Now I have done stuff in the past with real life skits and some friends, but I'm not gonna go into that because they're completely irrelevant. They're completely irrelevant to the content at hand, and they're really bad. But that is where I started learning how to edit. But I didn't really start learning how to edit videos with Sony Vegas until I started Game Rage 101. So that's where my stuff really starts. That's where my background actually begins. So it was around 2011, 2012 when I started Game Rage 101, and I actually started putting videos together through kind of a backdoor channel type thing because I didn't have a capture card when I first started the channel. I had to record the videos, upload them to a cloud, download them, and edit them. And
really?
It looked really bad. I honestly
did not know you did that. Like, I figured you used some sort of software, even if it was a shitty piece of software.
Well, I only had to do that for the first few videos. I got a capture card relatively quickly after that.
They're probably like, "Oh my god, thank you."
Yeah, pretty much. It was a dream come true, but it was still just a shitty little 720p capture card. And obviously, through the years, I've learned how to make video look better. I've learned how to render better. I've learned how to edit better, and I've gotten better equipment so that everything sounds and looks better. But I started out with a pretty basic 720p capture card, and I just recorded whatever the hell I felt like. So it started with Modern Warfare 3. That's the time period for anyone wondering. I would just record gameplays and edit them together, and anything around that time I would just record. Mostly when I was friends with Rob. That's around the time me and Rob were actually playing together more regularly, I should say.
Yeah.
And then about 2 years later, around I'd say that was about a year into Halo Reach's life cycle. Is that right?
What
I don't remember when I met you.
It was either 2011 or 2012. It was one of the two. So I would roughly say it was maybe at least a year.
Yeah, so I started playing Halo Reach because I got a 360 kind of off a whim, and started using Halo Reach to try and film stuff, and that was the first time I'd actually filmed anything on it. And that's when my friend Brendan had been like, "Hey, I can get you some people." So he got Shelby, and we filmed what was called The Infection of Reach. It was a spin on a story I wrote a long time ago, and I won't get into the details on that one, but the Infection of Reach is bad. This was the first time I had actually made a machinima using a video game, aside from a couple I did in Modern Warfare 3, which were not anywhere near the same tone or level of editing. They were just for laughs.
Sorry about that, spam callers.
Nice. That's why my phone's on vibrate now.
I have to do that now too. I didn't realize it was gonna happen.
But so that was the first time me and Shelby had done anything together. After that, we also did a little short called McDick's Pizza Place. And that actually, the general idea of the plot for McDick's Pizza Place is actually what ended up being the plot for Clucky's Chicken.
Which was
that we
amazing.
made with the Grand Theft Auto 5. The general idea of two delivery boys delivering something and having shenanigans along the way. That was the ideas that carried over.
I actually have some bloopers still from Clucky's 2. Or it was actually one of the funny moments I created and stuff, but when we were filming Clucky's 2.
I remember the helicopter still.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about in particular.
But yeah, so that's generally where my background starts, and obviously I've gone up and down. We'll talk a little bit more about the Machinima stuff that we've done more recently, but so Shelby, tell them about your first project with me, the one that you worked on yourself for the first time.
The first project that I actually worked on with Zach was actually Stalker, which would later get a revise, which I'm glad I did that for various reasons, but yeah, and that Machinima was actually based off some things that actually happened to me in real life to an extent, and at some point
I was about to say to an extent very exacerbated.
Yeah, like yeah, you could probably figure out where things really go. Like, okay, that's not what happened in real life. But yeah, that was kind of easy to write itself, really. Like, for the most part, I didn't really struggle writing that.
I don't know if I helped you write any of that one. I know I've helped you with future.
I know you did. I think maybe a little bit with the revised, but not the original.
Yeah, not the original. The revised, I added a few of my own flavors in there. One of which I remember killed you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first project I worked on, Zach. But it was not the first project I actually ever worked on. There was something prior to that didn't involve Zach, that didn't make it onto YouTube, which he helped me with, but that basically went through a very long hiatus because there was just certain things that were going on with GTA that really limited us, and Zach at a point figured a way around that and had camera shots looking so much better. And here's this video just sitting on my computer. I'm looking at it, it's like, do I want to even bother? Like,
wait, what is this?
This was Operation Zero.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I actually have both the original video of it on my computer, and I have the final product, which everybody saw on YouTube.
Right.
The first one was very similar to how Stalker was filmed, but for the most part, I will always consider Stalker the first one I actually did because it got finished and it got put up first.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always forgot about that too, because to me, Stalker always came first, which on YouTube and on paper, it did.
Yeah.
But I always forget that we did Operation Zero before that.
Yeah, it's when I did a bunch of reshoots. I actually went back in there and fixed a lot of the shots, like, and you could, like, if I were to put a comparison to those shots, the difference is seriously night and day, and I'm really glad I did that because
yeah, and then I also helped you with some of the camera work to figure some of that stuff out. I do remember that.
Yeah, because like it was on the verge of not showing up at all. It wasn't even titled anything. It was actually, we were actually just coming off something Zach filmed, which was, I'll let him talk about that, but it was called The Drop Off. So I wanted to film something actiony. So let's go ahead and talk about.
Got him in the mood.
Yeah, it got me all want to make something cool and stuff. Mm-hmm. And but I'll go ahead and let him talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So The Drop Off. This was generally meant to be a one-off thing, and this chains into a long chain of events that makes me mad to my core. But the beginning, The Drop Off was a one episode, one and done. Characters weren't even named. Action scene that I had just wanted to film. I wanted to take a shot at it and see how it looked. And for the production value we had available at the time and the knowledge we had at the time, it was generally well received. People liked it.
Oh, yeah.
But this was also a good point that someone had criticized our mic abilities, or our mic qualities rather. And this was where I started taking mic quality much more seriously because they gave me proper feedback. They didn't just go, "Oh, your mic sounds like shit." they actually, they
Well, I
actually
mean,
explained what
he'd
the
be
problem
right,
was.
but yeah, he did actually give us feedback.
Yeah, but that was where I took the criticism seriously and went, "You told me what was wrong, and now I need to take the time to fix it." And from that point on, I went about mic quality in a very different way. And since then, I have generally improved it tenfold in every aspect that I use microphones in. But that was a big point because that was where the quality of my channel also began to go up.
Yeah.
So
And
not just visually, but audio as well.
yeah, and for the record, we're not like I wouldn't necessarily say either of us are still the greatest for audio, but compared to what we were then,
Oh yeah,
yeah, there's a big difference. I would actually like at some point, if I can, I don't really know, but make things a bit more soundproof because I feel like that would really take it up a notch and stuff and sound like it's actually coming from characters, if you know what I mean.
yeah. See, I want to do that. I'd like to do something like that too. I've actually debated moving my desk into my room and soundproofing the room more so that I can do this. Because right now I'm in a living room in my basement and it does echo a little bit, but I haven't done any voice acting really since I've gotten here where I live now. So I haven't had much of a need for it just yet. But if the need ever arises, I might still do it. But yeah, the drop off, which ended up leading into the idea of us creating a series called Chaos Call. And this series was fun at the time, and now I look at it with disdain and anger because of what could have been is much better than what is.
Yeah.
So, which this actually transitions quite well into the next topic of struggles with creation. So, I have a lot more stories on this one than Shelby does. Shelby has a few of his own as
Yeah.
well, but I've got a lot more of this.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Okay. So let's start off with the very first time I really struggled to make something, and that was Chaos Call episode 3.
Oh dear lord. Yeah.
Episode 2 was not that bad.
That was alright.
Episode 2 wasn't terribly bad, but we didn't. The thing about it is we didn't really get the mic quality thing down until after episode 3 because we didn't get the criticism from the first episode until after I had made it. I do remember that.
I can't remember when it came in exactly. Could have been a few.
Episode 4 is when we started taking mic quality seriously.
Oh, I believe you on there. I just don't remember when that criticism particularly came in at what point.
Oh yeah, I just remember it was after episode 3 because that was when I took it seriously. Was 4 because if you watch episode 1, 2, and 3, the mic qualities are all over the fucking place. They're loud. They're doing whatever they want instead of what we want.
Yeah.
So. But episode 2 for Chaos Call, honestly, that wasn't that hard to film. It was cheesy, it was dumb, it was stupid, but it wasn't hard to film. Episode 3 became a bigger problem because I started trying to take the story a little more seriously. I started trying to write a little bit better. And there was a lot of moving shots in that lended itself to having trouble with the way Rockstar editors worked. Now, at the time, I didn't have the experience with the Rockstar editor, so that was the first struggles with creation, was learning how to use that properly.
Did we have the open camera mod at that point yet? I feel
No,
I don't know if we did or didn't.
I didn't start using open camera mods until episode 4, and you definitely didn't start using it until after that.
Yeah, I know I definitely used it after. I just couldn't remember when exactly you started using it.
But so generally the struggles first came with the editing process of the Rockstar editor because the cameras like to do weird things when you blend them together sometimes. And I didn't know this at the time. And I didn't know how to fix it at the time. So some of the shots in episode 3 look really freaking weird. And then there was the way I tried to warp my own voice to play another character. And nowadays I do it much better. But the first time I tried doing it, it sucked.
Yeah. The thing is, though, was this a 3? No, that was 4. I'm getting ahead of myself. Continue.
Okay. Episode 3 was when the character of Darks actually started talking more.
Yeah.
And that was when I actually really tried to make him sound different, but you could tell it was just me doing a voice.
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent, even in episode 4, you can still tell, but I did a better job of giving him his own flair. but even though episode 4 is its own fucking mess, and we'll get there. But episode 3, most of the issues were editing and recording issues, not so much anything in game, but just rather my own incompetence with the editor. Episode 4, on the other hand, holy shit. I don't actually know where to start with this one.
How about with the plane? How about that? Let's start there.
Sure, let's start with the plane. And this is probably where I'm going to start showing stuff from these episodes to show what I'm fucking talking about.
I'll probably put them on my end as well.
So the plane, cool idea, very bad execution.
Here we go. Expect laughter, a lot of laughter.
I'm gonna try to edit out my coughing because I am currently kind of like sickish. But so episode 4 starts with a plane crashing into a bridge with a bunch of cars, and the effect of it actually happening is actually kind of cool when it does happen. But the build up to it is weird. The camera shots are weird. The main villain's all quoting George Washington for some fucking reason, which that in itself isn't the worst part about it. It's just that he's standing on top of the bridge the plane crashes into. Who the fuck would do that? I've even mentioned that if I would recreate the scene. If I were to do it today, he would be in a car at a distance watching this happen and just quoting it to the person beside him.
Yeah, that would have definitely that would have had a big improvement.
Yeah, that would have had a heavier effect, in my opinion, too, because he's shouting at a bunch of people that are about to die. What difference?
Well, technically, he should be dead with them.
Oh, he should absolutely be dead too. The plane crashed right fucking behind him, and he's just sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm evil." Also, let's talk a little bit about Ish's voice acting. He's very monotone. He doesn't quite lift Preston up to the evil.
I love it.
It makes it funny in its own way, though. Now, as Billy, he nails it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
As Billy, that is 100% perfect. As Preston, not so much. But if I'm going to criticize Ish's voice acting, I can at least criticize my own as well. God. Let's talk about episode 4 was probably my best voice acting, admittedly, and then episode 2 and 3, where I was overacting every little thing. Episode 2, not so much because I wasn't even in episode 2. That's right.
No, you weren't. You were like missing or something.
Yeah, I was not there. Let's just go with that.
Well, no, you were there in the beginning, but then after that.
Oh yeah, I was there in the beginning, and the overacting on that one made more sense.
Yeah,
but and then we also have your voice acting in episode 2, which was glorious, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I tried so hard.
So we've also struggled with getting better at voice acting. Now, obviously, since we've leaned more towards comedy, that's been less of an issue because goofiness kind of just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But for Chaos Call, episode 4, editing that was a fucking nightmare because I had a lot of shots at different angles that did not blend together, that did not work together. They were segmented puzzle pieces with no proper fit. So when editing them together in Sony Vegas, finally, there was a lot of shots that would cut abruptly, shift angles abruptly, do weird fucking things abruptly. There was a bit with the car crashing and getting blown up as a motorcycle drove by it. And I was trying to get them to shoot the driver on a motorcycle over and over again. And then upon finishing that scene, I realized there was about 80 easier ways I could have done that.
Yeah, and I remember like there was this one scene that you wanted with the motorcycles, and it was going around a corner.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, that is the one you're talking about? Okay, because I know there was a few different parts with the motorcycle, so I wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, but that was the one that was really hard to film.
Yeah, okay.
That was the one where I'm like, I absolutely could have done that in so many better ways.
Yeah, like wind up what happened most of the time anyway. I was just crashing into a damn wall and flying off into the distance.
Yeah, because we were trying to make them hit a sharp turn and shoot the car at the same time. Or something like that. And it just really wasn't working. And it was frustrating everybody, including myself. So we got it. And let me tell you, in the final product, It looks like garbage. Like, you'll see that scene and go, "Wait, what the fuck just happened?" So, and then the motorcycle chase goes around into through these houses, and the idea, I think I still like the idea of where this went down, but then Preston kind of just weaves and Lucas gets hit by a car. Then he's like,
Oh, Jesus.
Lucas being my character, by the way. There was a few good ideas in episode 4, but the editing was atrocious. You can tell it was a train wreck to make, and I haven't made another episode of Chaos Call since. I've tried, and I failed. Now that will go into another struggling conversation, but for now, I'm gonna let Shelby take over some of his struggles.
Really, for me, it was like, again, this is actually something both we had happen to us, is like getting people to cooperate and stuff with GTA Online and stuff like that. People just messing around too much, can't get anything done. It's like, hey, now we did get them to listen after a couple times, so it wasn't as bad as some of the stuff I dealt with that and things that didn't involve me, but for things that did, that was definitely one of them. And I'm also have a struggle when it comes to picking particular shots. Like I mean, I get really picky at times, so like I want to shot in a very specific way. Zach will be watching me edit it and be like, "Hey, Shelby, don't you do this way?" But no, I want to do it this way. It's like, it'd be so much easier. It's like, Zach, stop it! I want to do it this way. That's like, yeah, I don't have anything quite extravagant like Zach with the camera things like that. The only one I think I could probably compare it to really would probably be Stalker, the original Stalker. Yeah, I had some, and it's excusable because it was like my first one. So yeah, like there's a scene with that I remember off the top of my head. It was when Blake, which that's who I do, and I also voice Blake and stuff he does, and he does stuff with Mike on my stuff. We share both these characters, so
yeah, effectively.
But there's a shot where Blake is running away from Jesse or Jessica. He gets in his car, and I'm trying to keep the camera as close as I can within the limit of getting Jess following him. And a lot of times she just kept disappearing out of shot, or the camera would tell me, "Hey, you reached your limit." I'm like, "You fucker." And also, like, an issue I had was I had a lot of more mid to wide shots and not nearly enough close-up shots. Like, I'm not talking extreme close-up, just close-ups in general.
Yeah.
And but that was kind of fun to edit. And then another thing I could think of that I ain't exactly entirely proud of is actually the second episode of Operation Zero, which the camera work was okay and stuff, but that time I think we did have the open camera mod.
Yeah, I do remember you actually needing it for a few shots.
But there was just, it was more so with the way I had things written and in the flow with scenes and stuff, and I'm like, oh god, why did I have them say this or do that? Like, there's like, because at the end of the first Operation Zero, he escapes this very bad situation. Well, he doesn't escape, he gets caught, but he gets rid of something very important. And the way when they're explaining it, it's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I'm telling my boy Reese that like I tossed the evidence over a bridge and stuff, and there's like 1,000 cops on me, and that somehow nobody fucking saw me do that, even though it doesn't even show it on camera. And I'm just staring at that's like, I could have just said it got captured or something. I feel like there's something I could have came up with better. It's like, oh, they can't find it. So, and then it transitions into later on, which my character's name was different in this. It wasn't Blake, and his wasn't Mike. His name was Reese, and mine was what the fuck was my name?
I don't even remember what your fucking name was, to be honest.
I want to think it was Chris.
Was it Chris?
I think it was Chris.
I actually don't remember.
I don't know. I'll have to look, but
which I guess shows a lot.
Yeah, I guess I'm not proud of that one particularly. But then it transitions in toward the end where Reese is in the submarine going to look for this very small object. Like, and I think I pulled a cop out like, oh, it's generating a signal, which near a military base, anybody could pick that up. But somehow only Reese can find it.
It has to be Mr. Ponytail.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, oh, I would rewrite that a bit differently. And the other thing I could think of that will struggle for me was actually with Wildcat, something more recent.
Oh yeah.
With that, first off, I've said this 1,000 times to everybody else. I announced that way too fucking early.
Yeah.
I like the way I presented it. It looked like it was going to be some sort of DC thing. Like I don't have the teasers for it anymore, but he was standing on top of a crane looking over the city, and not like and I was saying some bullshit. I don't remember what it was, but and then like I think I was helping something with you around the same time. I don't remember, but
I don't remember either. If anything, it was probably Cluckies or
Freedom Fighters 2, maybe. I can't remember, but I didn't even have a paragraph. It was just kind of an idea, very loose idea. And I didn't release a few teasers after that. And I actually remember going back and rewriting a lot of things and stuff. I constantly did that. Like, because if I was going to do this, I am not going to put up something shitty like I did in the past. And
so, yeah.
It's like, and also, I think I was also a bit cocky. I guess that's the right word to use for this thing, what I was going to do. Obviously, everything didn't go quite as a plan, but for the most part, I think it turned out decently in the end result, but it took me almost a year before that finally came out. Because I remember
the first Wildcat?
The first Wildcat, yes.
Okay.
The second one, there is a second one that I did start writing, but it's just been sitting there. Like I got maybe
it's in purgatory.
Yeah, I maybe got like a little bit over half the first act written, and that's about it. But there was also a few scenes where the one in particular was one where Blake was in his wild mobile, and then Mike was in Discount Batman mobile.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was great. And the shot was basically me going down the street, and he's shooting at me through the cannons for the gun from the mobile, which is awesome. This. And like, I'd probably refilmed that particular scene 3 to 4 times, mainly because I didn't feel like I had enough road. And eventually, I did figure out exactly how I wanted to do it, but that irritated me the most, and that actually started discouraging me right there. Oh my god, it's like I actually did get a little depressed because I really wanted to get this thing out. I've been talking about it forever, and I'm just struggling with it.
And you know what? To capitalize on your discouragement at the moment, I want to talk about my wonderful idea, best idea I've ever had, to start using mods.
Okay, yeah, I'll go. Yeah, go ahead and take this away.
So, the idea was sound, and I got it to work for quite a few things. And oh boy, this starts a rabbit hole a little bit. So, I'm going to explain what happened here. I very briefly touch on it on the next Halo Machinima that I'm working on rather. At the very beginning of that video, you will see what I'm talking about. I might even go ahead and put the pictures I have on screen right now, because this will likely come out before then anyway. Yeah. But you'll get my full 1 minute rant in the beginning of that anyway. But here's what essentially happened. I started using mods, and I've had this problem before where sometimes with the Rockstar editor, you would go into a clip to edit it, and the character's mouths or eyes would be all wonky and misshapen, and they wouldn't be proper. And this was affecting the recording process because they wouldn't fix themselves throughout the clip. And this didn't always happen, and I don't know whatever caused it to happen. Like, I actually managed to film a Machinima without it happening once. with my mods, so I don't think it was the mods that caused it. However, the idea with the mods, I wanted to film Chaos Call with. This was originally going to be a reboot of the series starting from episode 2 because we had already rebooted episode 1 and we were happy with where it stood.
Yeah.
So, and I still to this day am. But we were trying to film episode 2, or rather, at least I was, and I had gotten to a point of about halfway through the episode filming, and I never actually even told you about this.
I didn't know. I figured you were still at the beginning.
Nope, I had filmed the beginning, and then I had gotten through halfway of episode 2. And at that point in time, I had gone into the Rockstar editor only to find that over half of my clips had this problem.
You didn't notice it prior, or did you not look at them, or what was that about?
They weren't there the first time I looked at them. It didn't happen until the second time I went to go edit them, and then I could never get it fixed again.
Wow. Okay, yeah, so, I didn't know that at all. Holy shit.
So let's talk a little bit about the depression that caused. I spent the next 3 or 4 days doing everything in my power to fix that problem. I had even gone as far as removing the actual recording files from Rockstar's save files, moving them into another folder, moving them onto another hard drive, and moving them back.
Yeah,
and it did not
I don't recall you even telling me that.
Nope, I never told anybody that. I never told anybody that.
Well, I was the only people you could tell was either me, Ish, or even Rob if you wanted to.
Yeah, but because I was so desperate to fix this, I was like, if I can find one way to fix this problem, I can finish the series. Because the mods were working, they were doing what I needed them to do. I even managed to get the shot of Blake flipping the fucking table and the dude storming into the building. I was so fucking mad when Blake flipped the table and his mouth looked like he had a mouthful of peanut butter.
I'm not trying to laugh at you.
No, it's funny now that I think back and look at it. Holy shit, that was really funny. But at the time that sent me downward, let me just say.
Oh, man.
Yeah, at the time that sent me downward into quite the deep level of depression because I was like, look, I really, really want to do this. And I couldn't use any of that footage. I don't have it anymore, mind you. I deleted it, but I tried for 4 days to fix it and nothing I did worked. There was one time I got the clip to actually reset on like the 3rd day. And then as I started to fast forward, I realized that it wasn't fixed. And then it just kind of flipped back into what it was.
Jesus Christ.
Like it looked fixed at first. And then I got a close up and he was doing this stupid smirk and then it was all twitchy and the mouth movement wasn't registering properly. Excuse me. But that discouraged me to a very, very deep degree. And I haven't tried to film on GTA in a serious manner since then. The last thing I did on GTA was the short called Culmination of the Multiverse, which actually turned out quite well. But even then, I did have problems with the mouth thing on that. I just managed to either hide them or get the clips without it happening somehow. There's one clip where you can actually see it happening when Dyke goes up behind Mike and he's like, I want to pull that ponytail. It's actually happening to Mike's face a little bit. but because it made sense to the context that he'd be all twitchy and jumpy, it was perfect. It worked.
Well, there you go.
That was one instance of it working. So in that case, I just said, okay, that's fine. I'll let that one fly. And then I tried to film the opening for the next Machinima that we're making now on GTA. And instead of getting a proper opening, you're getting a rant. So
how far were you into that, by the way? I know God showed up, but after that, like, I don't know if you did anything else.
Well, I got everything, the God showing up, and then I did the finger snap, and then that was it. Because that was all it was going to contain anyway.
Yeah, okay, so you pretty much had the whole opening then.
I did the whole thing, but everybody's mouth was fucked up.
Now, I want to let everybody know, like, because he's told me this has even occasionally happened outside of mods. However, the ones I saw in the mod of that episode of Reach that he's making, that's probably the worst I've ever seen it been.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, he's sent me stuff before, or I've seen stuff where they look funny, but that That was like, oh my god, it's like, holy shit.
I remember it happening one time in Chaos Call episode 4, but it fixed itself really quick.
Like, I don't know if I've necessarily ever really ran into that problem. The worst thing, I think, if I did run into it, it corrected itself without me knowing, but,
if I knew a way to fix it, and like, if I knew what was causing it, I would stop doing whatever's causing it, and if I knew a way to fix it, I would fix it, and I'd be able to make Chaos Call again, because that was the one thing that killed everything for me. I would absolutely go back and do it again if I could just avoid, if I had a surefire way to avoid that happening. Because Chaos Call, let me put it to you this way, Shelby. Aside from the mouth thing, that was actually coming along really good, and I'm so fucking mad about that.
I remembered a little of the video that you put up on your channel talking about and stuff, where Blake was going to the building,
walking through the hospital. Yeah, that was nothing.
That looked really well. Even I could already tell though with that just alone, it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, Shelby, that was fucking nothing. You didn't see half the shit I got to do. So let me tell you what all I had filmed. I had filmed the beginning with the cop cars coming and picking Lucas up. So, because in the original, you didn't even see that, right?
Yeah.
So what I had filmed was the beginning where Lucas and Chris run away. They talk a little bit. Lucas is like, "Hey, get the fuck out of here!" And Chris is like, "Okay," and then he runs away like a little bitch. But then I actually got a shot of Lucas throwing his gun down, having the animation of him sighing, and then he walks out with his hands up and gets on his knees. And there's a close up of him kind of just watching us, like, as you can see the lights from the cops reflecting all around him, and he's just like,
oh,
it was a good shot, and then that transitioned into the new opening. That shot worked.
I wish I could have seen that.
Afterwards, I didn't film in sequence. I filmed that was when I started filming your little table flip scene instead.
Okay.
So that was difficult. I decided to film in terms of difficulty order first. That scene with Preston in the apartment was what I was figuring was going to be the hardest one. So what I had to do was effectively get 6 or so of the soldiers, and I had to give them all separate animations for going into the room.
Yeah, I remember watching a bit of that process too.
Yeah, but what I had to do was I wanted them to throw a flashbang or something like that, but the game doesn't have flashbangs.
Yeah.
So I just had to makeshift one, but so I had them throw something. I don't remember what the fuck it was, but because I couldn't figure out how to get them to actually throw stuff, I had them do the animation. I didn't show them throw it, and I was invisible standing behind them as the animations ran out, and I threw something myself.
Okay. That's kind of
cool. But that took me 5 hours to do, just that one shot.
Well, you knew mods were definitely going to take a lot longer, so
I was prepared for that, and in the moment when I had filmed the shot, I was happy with it. I didn't even need you flipping the table in that same shot, so you weren't your character and stuff wasn't even in the room in that particular instance.
Yeah,
because I just needed the shot of them busting the door open, which I was actually also able to do, by the way. I was able to have them shotgun the door off of its hinges.
And
the door flew off and like rolled around on the ground. And then I had a cut of you flipping the table and diving for cover up against the pillar, and Preston was all like backed up against the wall with a gun out.
I just want to keep in mind, like, I actually never got the chance to use any of the mods. Like, the most mod thing I used was probably Open Camera mod, and
yeah,
the last thing I made, I didn't actually even use really the camera mod at all. That was in Wildcat, which I was happy I managed to finish that, but I'm afraid to use mods just because the severity of it might fuck up whatever's keeping my shit together to such a degree where I can't even do anything anymore.
See, I didn't have that. Like, I want to say that if you haven't had that mouth problem before, maybe you wouldn't have it with mods. So you could actually get lucky. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a unique case where it's like, because I looked up situations, or I looked up ways to fix this, and I couldn't find any. But then I also filmed the scene where they got outside and he was holding Preston, where your character was holding Preston at gunpoint, interrogating him, and that was all I had done. But I want to say of edited footage, I had about 7 minutes of footage.
I think the original was maybe what I can't remember how long the original episode 2 was.
It was about 12 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The new one was going to be about 20 because we added a whole nother scene to it and we removed one entirely.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that we're talking about also kind of ties in with the motivation to finish. Zach's is more severe than mine are, but
yeah,
which
we haven't talked about our writing processes at all either. But I think for the moment we might just skip over that.
Yeah,
because that can kind of tie in. That kind of ties into everything we've been talking about already, anyway.
Yeah,
but we might go into more detail on that in a moment. We'll see. But for motivations to finish, let me tell you, I had all the motivation until that happened. I was so mad. I'm so fucking mad at this.
Yeah, for me, the only thing that never really got finished was the Operation Zero series, which I don't even know how long I was planning to make that.
That was also part of my problem with Chaos Call was I didn't know at the time how long I wanted it to be.
Like, I had ideas for how I wanted it to end, and it was just kind of filling in the gap in between stuff to get a really clear idea and stuff. And yeah, that's really the only thing on my channel that I don't think I finished. I finished everything else, but the motivation thing, like, kind of varies all over the place. Some I already mentioned, and another thing, which affects us both, is just work in life in general. Sometimes, just like, because that can be really draining. Like, for one video, I'll use mine as an example for Wildcats. Like, aside it being 9 months in total, I probably spent well over 40 hours making that. And it gets really tiring. I don't have nobody to edit this shit for me. I mean, I occasionally can have Zach help me with a shot or something like that, and vice versa.
Like a shot that turns his in-game recording camera off. Like, I'll help him with stuff like that. He'll do the same for me sometimes.
Yeah, but it's just crazy how long some stuff can take, and we just need a break. Again, we don't have nobody that really help us with this. Like, people like Markiplier and stuff have people that can help with his editing and things like that. We don't.
Yes, because they have the money to hire editors.
That too.
So. Whereas YouTube for us is little more than a hobby.
Yeah, and that's also one of the reasons, like, all the stuff as far as playthroughs go, it takes me forever to finish them, is because I have to go through everything and make sure everything's working properly, and then edit it out, and then keep things in, and yeah, but I'm slowly trying to fix that. It's still gonna take me a while, but I have recently finished some stuff on my channel as far as games go, so.
Yeah, I also had a few playthroughs running from the year before, Dead Space 3 in particular, and then I had moved to Colorado and my internet was shit there and I couldn't upload videos. It would have, because me and Shelby finished playing Dead Space 3, but he recorded it and I didn't. So the playthrough of Dead Space 3 was finished, but I couldn't record it because it would have taken me a month to upload one episode. So
yeah, and the last 4 recordings on my end were fucked up due to me not triple checking my volume on that, because
I kept telling you the game was too fucking loud.
And here's the thing: it didn't sound loud through my headphones.
Oh, I know, but I kept telling you. I did keep telling you, and you know damn well that I did.
I know you did a few times, but like, I figured since it was fine through the headphones, that maybe it wasn't going to be that bad. And holy shit, did it remind me of the freaking old days where it's slightly better, but it's still pretty bad, where I would have to make key points on the track and go down, up, constantly adjusting the line, so trying to make it so you could hear Zach, because I have my own audio track. I don't know how to make his own third individual track, because if that was the case, then I would have no problems whatsoever, regardless of what the game volume was.
Yep, and nowadays we have OBS to actually watch the levels.
Yeah.
So we can usually get a better idea. We can do a quick test. I'll be like, hey, say something. He'll say something. I'll shoot a gun in the game to see how loud it is, to see if it overtakes him.
Yeah, and that's something I neglected to do on those last 4 parts, is check the goddamn volume between your voice and the game. I'm like, motherfucker.
If I had recorded it, this would have been much less of an issue. But
Oh.
I wouldn't have been able to do anything with those recordings forever anyway. While I
Yeah.
was in Colorado, my channel took what I would consider to be a very considerable dip in content output. I'm pretty sure I only uploaded maybe 1 or 2 videos the entire year I was in Colorado. So, yay.
Yeah, that was kind of a rough time for him.
That's putting it mildly, but I'm not even
Oh,
going to get into that right
yeah.
now. That's not even what this is about. So for now, motivations to finish, they vary depending on project to project. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, with projects that we film without mods, without complicated writing, and without complicated camera work, the motivation is usually much higher because it's much easier to make. Now, that sounds simple. Oh, it's easier to do, so no shit, it's easier to make. But
Yeah.
the process of creation is not something to scoff at, in my opinion. And having done it, I respect things like filmmaking, actual filmmaking, much more than I used to. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
Because the amount of work we put into just making short little shitty internet videos pales in comparison to even homemade videos.
I can give you a prime example. Fucking Doctor Strange and how trippy that film was. The amount of special effects artists just in general I saw in the credits was exaggerating. I'm just watching like, holy shit. Like, oh.
Yep.
That's their souls.
Yeah, it really puts into perspective that type of stuff. Now, granted, those are all also AAA budget films, and we're over here with our mouse and keyboards going, I make videos. But the point remains the same, is that the creative process, no matter what you do, is something that I generally think should be respected to some degree, because people, it's something you absolutely have to learn you will not be good at as you start.
Oh, yeah. Baby steps. Take baby steps.
And I know some people who think they'd be great at it right off the fucking rip, and I'm like, no, you really,
You're
really
cute.
fucking wouldn't. You really fucking wouldn't. But so let's get on to a little more fun topic, shall we?
Yeah.
Voice acting.
I mean, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but
well, no, we didn't really get into the quirks of it.
Yeah.
the fun bits. So voice acting, and I use quotations. I'm using air quotes. Obviously, you can't see that.
Yeah.
Voice acting. So, Shelby, let's start with Chaos Call, episode 2.
Oh, with my voice acting?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I kind of remember some aspects. I'm like thinking and stuff.
I also do want to emphasize that this is also partly due to direction issues from me. But his voice acting was hilarious.
Like, I could actually took me a minute to think about it, but the part that stands out to me is kind of like after the whole thing with the cops and everything. I don't think that part I was necessarily all that bad when I did. It was definitely not great, but I still don't think that was the bad. The part was coming after and stuff when I was getting information from this guy that's locating Zach's character. Like, I sound...
You sound bored.
Bored? Yeah, I guess that would be the correct word to say it. It's like he'd be like, okay, there's this place over here. It's like, okay, you let me do my job, let you do yours. Okay, I'm gonna head there. It is like, do you see it in your display and stuff? All the information I'm sending you. I'm like, yeah, I see that. This good intel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, it's weird for me to say that, like, in that tone and stuff. Well, if you were telling me to do it purposely, it doesn't make me feel weird, but doing it, like, in the way I'm doing it now, it's like, that doesn't feel right.
I can't imagine doing it like that nowadays.
Yeah.
We have gone through we've gone through so many ups and downs with voice acting that it's actually been fun to learn how to do things better. Let me just put it that way, and learning from our old mistakes. And for me, I'm going to go back to the infection of reach.
Oh,
for my
I had like one voice line in that.
Yeah, your voice line was
Max, this is dangerous. You can't keep hiding stuff from us.
Yeah, exactly. and then I hit you and I yelled at you and I'm like, you wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for me.
God, it's so serious, Zach.
It was so stupid and so bad. And my mic was peaking and everything.
Oh, mine was too.
We've had a lot of interesting struggles with voice
the
acting.
one
And I
thing-
wouldn't really say struggles, but fun shifting.
One of the things, this is a mixture of acting and stuff actually happening, but it was the 3rd episode of Chaos Call, Zach. It was when you were escaping the airport. There was nobody around you stopping you aside from those guards. And he's driving down to the extraction where Preston is. And he's all like this is actually a mixture of him and Ish. He's like, Ish is all like, hey, get in the plane. Gotta hurry. And there's like, I'm coming. And he gets flipped over by just a random truck.
Yeah, I get hit by a random truck, and then I get out of the truck. I'm like, oh, weird. And then I start running toward the plane, and it's like, look, it's getting the plane. And he's slowly driving it around the corner.
Yeah, and then it slowly takes off. And then he's sounding so serious. And I'm just, that particular scene kills me every time.
Yeah. At the time, I'm like, yeah, action, running fast, plane coming
It started
out.
off okay, but then it's like, oh, where is everybody?
And now I'm like, why shouldn't he be like getting shot at or something?
You didn't even have one guy.
No, the one dude. I'm like, well, I guess the one dude who hit me died.
I think you actually had that truck drive up a ramp that you placed, and you managed to hide with the camera.
Yep. And then the other thing is a large part as to why weird shit like that happened was because we had no body actors.
Yeah.
We had very, like, I'm like 90% sure that the dude who hit me in the truck was the same person driving the plane.
More than likely.
Because I don't even think you were available at that point. Yeah, if you were either playing with you were either body acting as Darks or playing as the soldier that I shot in the face.
Yeah, probably.
And those were the only 2 people I had for that whole fucking episode.
Yeah. But the acting was like so stupid. What was going on? Also, it also happened in 2. 2 is like, Chris, in a helicopter.
Oh, and then he just crashes it into a fence.
Yeah. And I don't even say anything. I'm just like,
oh, also, Shelby, how's the oh shit?
Oh yeah, that was in what? That was in 3.
That was in 3.
Yeah, so needed like an extra voice actor, for just a very small part from one of the guards, and it was basically giving him a location of something.
I don't even remember what the fuck it was.
It was like, yeah, the data was like, it was like some sort of data that Mike was looking for and stuff, and then you're interrogating him. I'm just standing there like, oh shit.
Yo, yeah, no, I shot the dude right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I held you up, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And drops his gun.
Shit! It's on the satellite on the roof. My voice is so convincing.
And then I hit him in the face, and I go, "Thank you."
Yeah, you totally couldn't tell that was me, right? It's like,
no, not at all.
There were some things there was some actual, one thing I do think I did a pretty good job of doing, and the first episode of Operation Zero, in terms of masking my voice, there was like an AI vehicle that I had my character hacked and bring it to the space to help get him out of there. I think for the most part, I actually managed to mask my voice in because it was supposed to sound robotic-y and everything like that, and unless you knew it was me doing it, you ain't gonna know it was actually me.
Yeah, and that one was actually pretty good. I do remember that one.
One thing that I wish that you could have done was that Skyrim Machinima, The Legend of Architale.
Yeah, because that the little trailer I made for that was actually pretty good. I actually still like that.
Yeah, it's like, and nobody could tell like what I was doing on that either. And there was a few parts that you sounded different too. I'm like, wait, was that you?
It was because what I did was the way I would describe what I did with my voice was effectively what I did with Darks.
Yeah,
where I go a little lower like this.
Yeah, except you didn't have yours all modulated and stuff.
Yeah, it was that, but it wasn't all modulated. So that was me effectively doing my lower, more gruff, I'm dummy thick. That's my tough guy voice.
Yeah, you're a tough guy.
But yeah, that's essentially what Dark sounds like without the voice modulation.
Pretty much.
And yeah, I remember you were like, "Dude, that was good."
It was
And
good.
I was like, "It's too bad I never took off." That was the kind of thing that made me wonder a little bit. I'm like, should I start voicing characters like that a little bit more? And I never did it after that, but except for Darks, I guess. But that's a unique case as well. But I don't know. That's still something I still kind of toy with. I'm like, would I give a character that voice nowadays? Maybe I would just have to practice with it a little bit more. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it was fun to do. And that's actually another thing is trying out different ranges. My range is poor. I have 2 ranges. My normal voice and that voice.
I could give you another. I almost forgot about it. Almost slipped my mind. This goes back to his little McDick's pizza place. Like he already knows what I'm about to go into. It's like if you've seen Cluckies, you know the scene where Mike and Blake crash into a fan after looking at a chick. Well, same concept, but in Reach. Instead, though, in Cluckies, we get out of the car talking to each other. There's something different that unfolds in McDick's Pizza Place. We crash, we get into a fight, the girl comes over, and there's bystander that comes over. I guess you could say he's a cop or whatever. It sounds like this. It's the greatest thing ever. Oh, excuse me, this lady told me that you would hit her fucking car. What's wrong with you? Do you not know how to fucking drive? Oh my god.
It did sound like I was talking into a cup, didn't it?
You had your hands over your mouth.
Yeah, because I was trying to do the helmet sound and mask my voice in weird ways. That was like 2013, so.
Oh, that was great.
But then he gets hit with a golf club, and I'm like, hey. I'm gonna take my 9-iron and go to town on your faces.
I never had any of that really on my end. That's all happened on his. I can't think of one instant where that happened.
My voice acting has been more all over the place compared to Shelby's. Because I also voiced the McDick's dude, and he was like, "I don't understand."
Oh yeah, you did that too.
I did do that too. Yes, and then you know what? Never mind. I'm actually not going to mention that. But
I'm going to have to ask you what that is then.
You already know it involves the new Machinima.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's you doing a voice.
Okay.
But yeah. So as far as voice acting goes, we've had a lot of interesting ups and downs. More me because I've tried expanding my range a little bit, and it's not good. Like I said, I've got 2 ranges. I've got my normal voice, which I can mic up as much as I want to, where I can be like, and then I've got that lower voice, which I really only ever gave to one character, and it was only out of an attempt to make him sound different. I've never actually tried doing that as an actual acting tone.
Yeah,
which I should at some point to see how it sounds, but for the time being, it is what it is. And I also won't try to do it when I'm sick, like right now.
Yeah.
But
as far as voice acting, I don't think there's really anything else that I can think of at the moment that
not particularly.
Out.
No, but voice acting, it's fun. We're bad at it, but it's still fun.
Yeah.
As for the next thing we had in mind, this is actually something that was a little more prevalent with Shelby, a little bit with me because of some recency, but rebranding. So I'll get mine out of the way first. The only rebranding I've actually done was a change of logos and updated art and stuff like that. But I've also rebranded my Twitch channel. It used to be the Game Rage 101.
Yeah.
It now just rebranded as the Rageroni Show, which is my live stream name now. Which this is the only real difference is now I'm trying to make it more as an official show / podcast style commentary when we're playing video games together, which doesn't always happen, but that's just the general goal of that particular channel. And that's the only rebranding I've had any desire to do. Shelby, on the other hand, we started making jokes about.
Yeah, I don't know exactly remember how it started.
It started with Rob calling.
Oh, I know Shelby. It started with him, but but what were you saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's fine. It actually, I was going to let you pick it up from there. It started with Rob calling you Shelby Sherbert,
Yeah.
And then the idea came across, which I'll let you take over now.
Yeah, it's like he started calling me Shelby Sherber for whatever reason, and I guess the name has a uniqueness to it, which I would say, yeah, it does. Basically, we didn't it started out really as a joke, like, oh, Shelby Sherber ice cream and stuff like that, and we would make a bunch of stupid puns, like mainly me. Well, it started with Rob, and then I really started picking up. It's like, oh, you could be like, anytime something interesting happens, you could be like, I am Shelby Sherbert, and that's the scoop of the day.
And here's the scoop, is what it was.
Yeah, it's like, it makes me sound like I'm trying to be a shitty news channel or whatever.
Yes, but it's also, I still stand by the idea that even if obviously you don't have to do it, but it's still unique.
Yeah. It's like, I kind of toyed with the idea of doing it. It's like, I actually had an idea for a skip if I was actually going to do it, and if I do it, it'll be fucking great, but it would be a skit of me being on the computer looking at something, and then like somebody makes a mean comment for whatever, says like, oh, your videos suck. I get all depressed and sad. I see me just kind of walk out of my room, go into the the kitchen. I grab out this like gigantic thing of sherbet, like the tub ones, and then I would come in my room and stuff. You'd see me open it up. I just stare at it. I take a bite. I kind of smile a little, and then I just start stabbing the shit out of it with the spoon. It's getting all over the place, and then start bashing my face into it. And then you just see the logo come on, Shelby Sherbert, a new channel coming near you. What would be the point of that? It's like
Introductories,
I guess. Like, I guess to show what kind of channel it is.
It's a gaming channel, sort of. But
it's like, well, your name doesn't sound gamey. It's like, well,
shut up.
Yeah. It's mainly
I
for
remember
uniqueness.
you toying with the idea a little bit. It was mostly just us memeing, but we were like, if you were going to rebrand to something, that's it. The reason I toyed with the idea of rebranding is just because of the fact that the name with numbers is not very recognizable these days.
Yeah, I get what they mean when they say that.
Mm-hmm. And any names that are recognizable with numbers are names that have been recognizable for years now.
Yeah,
and even though we've been on the internet and doing stupid stuff for years now, we don't exactly have a big following.
No, not even close.
Well, mostly because we're inconsistent as all fuck.
That too.
So that's where part of that.
And at this point, I have probably put up almost 400 videos. Some of them are unlisted for to check things out, like machinimas and stuff like that, and other reasons. Yeah. But for the most part, yeah, that's roughly around where I am.
I don't even know where the fuck I am, to be honest with you. These days, I've transitioned more into live streaming than I have been actually making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And that's just mostly because it's, first of all, it's a little more, it's easier for me personally to manage. Editing videos is something that I still do, obviously. Like, I still make clip shows and compilations, and I'm still making machinimas here and there. But for the most part, I'm not really recording Let's Plays. I'm not really recording, you know, the stuff of that nature anymore. So, yeah.
And so, I guess really that leads us into future goals and or plans, which I'll leave that up to you, Zach, because I don't really necessarily have like any different plans from what I've already done.
Mm-hmm. For me, obviously future goals is I would like to see my Twitch channel have a little bit more of a surge of viewers. I'm not talking like take me to a full-time job Twitch streamer status, but I'd like to see it start to grow a little bit more than it is now. And it's started to here and there. I'm starting to get more consistent viewers, and that's actually something I appreciate. And I appreciate them for that as well. But my main goal is generally to try and grow the Twitch channel up a little bit and use the YouTube channel as kind of a highlight hub and machinima hub, I guess, these days. I might still do edits of random video games here and there because that's just something I do.
It's always fun.
Yeah, and it's always fun. So if I'm not streaming, chances are I'm going to start recording more. And if anything happens while we're recording, I might edit those together and make a brief edit of like a 1 hour video, turn it into a 5-minute video, etc., which is what I did with Dead Island, and those turned out good.
Yeah, holy those were really good.
Those actually turned out really good. Those are the types of hey cat, stop that. Anyway, those are the things anyway. But as for future goals and plans with the YouTube channel, there aren't very many. Twitch is the one I would rather see take off, if anything. Mostly because I'm really heavily branding towards the Rageroni Show stuff.
Yeah, which I think you're doing relatively decent at.
Yay! I'm glad someone agrees because.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're getting viewers and stuff. It's like I actually do have more people on my Twitch thing. The problem is I don't stream much for various reasons, and I could go to all those reasons. Just to give you a hint, there's a particular person or people that like to show up a lot at my house, and it kind of puts everything on hold.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you're talking about.
It's like I don't want to do that while they're here, so that's part of the reason. Like my playthroughs also take a lot to get through, but I'm trying to. I have always been trying to get better at getting those things out.
Yeah, and obviously with the personal issues and with the house and living stuff like that, sometimes it can be difficult to
eat. So especially when people that show up unexpectedly, like all the time.
Yep. Honestly, I would be like, you need to get a lock on your fucking door. I don't know if you have one or not. But I do,
but it's still the fact though. When it'll do it, start getting ready for something, all of a sudden I hear knock knock.
Dude, that's what it was like when I was still living with my parents. Every time when I'm doing nothing all fucking day, nothing, not a peep. I'll turn my game on and be like, hey, let's do something. Hey, Zach, what are you doing? Zach.
Yep, that's pretty much it, but
also when I went and got food, my dad would always catch me to do something with him as soon as I got food.
like I want to eat. I don't want my stuff cold.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah, I'm trying to decide what game I want to finish that I started next. Which I actually got. I know this wasn't something that was on my channel for all. We actually got Surgeon Simulator out pretty quickly.
Honestly, yeah, that we had very little issues with getting that one done. Holy crap, the Jello.
The Jello.
The pace we got that out is the pace we would like to see from everything from now on.
Yes, that's what I would like to do.
But I streamed it. I didn't stream the last bit of it because I figured we were so close to the end of the game. I didn't want to start a whole stream just for that.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish I did because I threw a plate of Jello into a locker and oh god, it made me so mad when that ended got captured. But whatever, it don't matter. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, and like going on this cast for a while. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think at the moment I've gotten all the big stuff out of the way. I'm sure we'll remember stuff as soon as we stop recording. We'll be like,
more likely, yeah.
But we can always save topics for the next time we do one of these.
Yeah.
So I think for now, we'll go ahead and call that as the first episode of the Connection Check podcast. Shelby, any lingering thoughts you want to quickly get out in rapid fire manner?
If you need to check your facts, you got Education Connection for free.
All right, let's just stop this right now. So, anyway, this has been the Connection Check with me, Gamers 101, and my other host,
Shelby Sherbert. Or the Game 6970.
Shelby Sherbert working title. So, if you've liked what you've seen / heard here, if you're not already, feel free to subscribe to our channels. The link to his channel, if you're watching this on my end, will be in the description below, and vice versa. I'm assuming he shows the same courtesy.
Of course.
Well, you could always just forget, but
I ain't gonna forget.
I'll try not to forget either. So,
well, I'll be more like.
I'm certain we will edit our videos a little bit differently, but the podcast content will remain the same. So.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you so much for watching. We both really appreciate it, and we will see you the next time we make a video because it likely won't be another one of these just yet. But if you just listen to us for podcast content for some freaking reason,
people do. So,
which some people do, but I don't think any of the people who watch us listen to us for podcast content.
Yeah,
but But hey, if we get any new viewers with this one, hey, welcome. We're weird and we welcome you.
Yeah,
so
welcome. Join us.
We will see you the next time we make a video and or podcast.
Yep. See you guys later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.